Today we are going to be creating a winter watercolor landscape with birch and evergreen trees using the resist method. We will be using tape to mask off or resist the areas where the birch trees will be, and the evergreen trees will be created using crayons, creating a barrier between our ground and our sky. I will be using my paper vertically and will begin by writing my name and class code on the back. To begin creating tape strips, start the roll of masking tape and then put the tape on your knee. Pull back as far as you can and smooth the tape piece onto your leg. Cut or tear to detach the piece from the roll. This step is important. Number one, it'll hopefully help to eliminate all of your tape getting tangled and stuck to itself. More importantly though, you will notice that when you do this, the tape picks up some of the fibers from your clothing, and this will make your tape a little less sticky and will hopefully make it easier to take the tape off your paper when we're finished with the watercolor resist portion. To create a much more interesting and dynamic composition, I want to be sure to include variety. I can vary the thickness of my trees by overlapping 2 or even 3 pieces of tape to create wider trees. When applying the tape, I can vary the placement so they don't appear to all be perfectly lined up. I can put some lower on my paper. Those will appear closer to the viewer. I can put some higher up, which will give the illusion that they are farther away. Some can be leaning off the edge, maybe even 2 start at the same place, but the trunks split as it moves upwards. The most important thing here is that your tape goes all the way up off the top edge of your paper. If your tape ends below the edge, it will look like a lumberjack came through your forest and chopped the tops of all of your trees. I would aim for between 4 to 6 birch trees in your landscape. When you are finished adding in all of your tape, carefully lift your paper up off the table and flip it over to the back side. Carefully trim off any tape that's hanging over the edges. Try not to cut your white paper while doing this. We just want the large majority of the tape cut off so that it won't stick to someone else's work when we store it today. Once you've finished the taping part, it's time to add a horizon line. Remember, this is the line that separates your sky from the land portion of your landscape. Start at one edge of the paper and draw a light line all the way to the other side, drawing right on top of your tape trees. Be sure all of the tape trees dip below that horizon line, or it will look like you have trees floating in the sky. Next, we will add in some evergreen trees. This will add some visual interest, but it will also help create a barrier between our sky and our ground so that when we add the watercolors next time, the 2 sections won't just bleed together. Practice some evergreen trees on your smaller sheet of paper. Draw a light triangle in pencil. It can be tall and skinny, wide and short. Again, variety is the spice of life. Once you have a pencil line, pretend like there's a line down the middle of your triangle and draw short diagonal lines coming from that imaginary line. Continue all the way to the bottom and then repeat on the other side. It is important while you're drawing your crayon lines to press down hard to apply a nice thick layer of waxy crayon because that's what's going to help resist the watercolor better. I use black for my trees because it's like they're in silhouette with the light coming from behind them, but you can use greens, browns, blues, purples, or really any combination of colors. Once you feel confident, you can start drawing a variety of pencil triangles up from your horizon line on your final copy, drawing right over the tape and trying to keep your triangles close together. Then you can go back and add your crayon. Obviously, if you see that a triangle is completely on top of your tape, you don't have to add crayon there, but you do want to bring your crayon on top of your tape just over the edges a little bit. When we pull the tape off later, it'll look like your evergreen trees are going behind your birch trees. Again, when you're adding in your trees, you want to push down nice and hard. Once you have all of your birch trees taped on, all of your evergreen trees drawn in, then you are ready for part 2.